Good morning, y'all. This is what I'm having before my leg day today. Got some cream of rice with 2 scoops of whey protein powder. I got 2 eggs mixed with 3/4 cup of egg whites. Got a banana, and then I got an orange. Eating this approximately 2 hours before my workout, and I'll see you guys then. Alrighty guys, starting with 210 for 8 front squat. Coming into this, I just did power cleans before this, but my trainer recorded them on his new Meta glasses, which was pretty cool, but I totally forgot to record them on my phone. I did 215 for 3, then I did 225 for 3, 2 sets, and the last set was really brutal. I was really tired. Going into the front squats, I didn't feel any, lighter. I started with 205 for 8. He wants me to go down slowly, and then, not towards the end, don't, just drop down. Just control the weight all the way down, and then explode back up. And this makes the squat way harder. I do feel it a lot more in my quads, and every week I'm trying to go up by 5 pounds, because it just takes a lot out of you doing these 8 pause reps. And my third and final set, I'm doing the same weight. Honestly, this last set was really easy. I felt like I could have done more weight, but I just stuck to 215 because in my mind I was just already so exhausted from the heavy compound that I did before. But next week for sure I'll be pushing myself, doing probably 225 or probably something heavier, definitely 215 at worst. But yeah, these last few reps so good. And sorry my voice is a little raspy. I'm a little sick, and you could probably hear me sniffle and stuff, but I don't have too bad of a fever, so hopefully by the time I get to my upper body day I'll be good as new. But for right now, I'm quite tired. So here we're doing single leg RDLs. I lost my balance there. And I think by the time this clip ends, my coach, as you can see all to the side in the black, he's going to tell me to just switch back to double leg. The reason for this is because I don't really need the balance component. But I tried to do it just because it was a harder variation, but I think I'm going to stick to the double leg, try to keep it more stiff leg so it really focuses on my hamstrings and stretch out my lower back. In the future, I'm going to try and go as heavy as possible, probably handle the hundreds, or eventually I might just go back to the barbell, but I'm waiting to buy some deadlift wraps. So instead of wrapping it around the handle, I like it just, it's like a figure 8, and you just put your hands through it, and then your grip is locked. Because on these RDLs, if you've ever done them, it's really hard to keep a grip, because you're just you're not ending the weight on the ground, so you can't reset your grip. So if your grip starts failing, then and you can push your lower back and hamstrings more, it just kind of sucks when you just place down the weight. But other than that, these all felt good. And as you can see, I'm very tired, and right here just explains it. Yeah, after a quick talk with my coach, yeah, did the same weight. It was really easy because, again, it was double leg. And then the last set, I pushed myself to 160 total, but it's 80s in both hands, and it was still pretty easy. For sure, definitely next time I do these, I'm gonna move up. But next time you see me doing leg day, I'm gonna do deadlifts. Try to hit 410 for 6, maybe even more. It's going to be a PR for sure. Deadlifts are just one of those taxing movements right here. The reason I switched to dumbbells here is because we just been doing we just did 2 compounds with barbell work, and I figured might as well just use some dumbbells, and the dumbbells felt great, honestly. I think in my gym the dumbbells only go up to 130 or 150, which is still pretty high, but But the barbell, you know, you just load as much plates as you want, you know. And as you can see here, he's recording with his meta glasses. I think it's pretty funny, but they were still pretty cool. Now this leg day kicked my butt. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I didn't eat enough carbs or just, I don't know what it was. I was just tired. But, you know, you still got to push yourself. And, you know, mentally, I was really, like, struggling during this lift because I really wanted to just quit. But I knew I had more exercises to go through. But in the end, I managed to complete everything. You know, even when your mind's telling you to just give up on something, you just still got to keep pushing through. Because don't let your feelings dictate your actions. Let your actions dictate your feelings. And also, like, whenever I lifted at the Absolute Recomp gym, I got this awesome shirt, and I really like it. I think I'm gonna wear it for my next lift for sure. Probably change up the shorts, but yeah, I really liked it. And as you can see, I'm wearing the Metcons for shoes. Very great squat shoes. I feel like really like planted in the ground, like I'm not moving at all. Like, I think for like a couple weeks, probably like 8 or 7 weeks, I was just lifting with Hoka's, and I didn't really pay much attention to it because, like, it doesn't really matter. I thought in my mind it didn't really matter what shoes I wear, but I say, like, it was more of like an annoyance when I could feel like I wasn't really planted firmly in the ground, because I do. My shoes weren't like secure enough, but it didn't really bother me enough to where I'd buy new shoes until I put on these shoes and I realized, like, oh, wow, like, these actually make such a difference when you're squatting. And then right here, doing some Bulgarians with 100 pounds. Felt pretty good. The next set, though, I'm just like very exhausted, and I think by the time this set ends, I think my trainer heads out because he's got to go work out. Probably also hit legs the same time I did. But next week, I think I'm going to start with the 110s, or next time I do this, and then do 120s. Just because, you know, progressive overload, you know. I feel like my form is pretty good. He told me to, like, control the eccentric and then explode on the concentric. Also, like, move my foot a little bit more forward, so I don't know really, he didn't really explain to me the reason to move my foot forward, but it did feel better. And I felt like, you know, like how, like, you kind of feel that stretch on the leg that's not really being worked. I kind of felt it more on that, so I knew that my other quad that's working is feeling more of a stretch. Yeah, I couldn't really hold on to the 55s because I was just so exhausted. And I think I did count that rep where I pick up the dumbbells as my first rep. But if you guys don't think it counts, just let me know in the comments. But other than that, I think it counts because it's, I mean, I was leaning more forward, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. You know, I'm still pushing myself every gym session. Oh, God. You know, for like the longest time, I noticed that I was really like progressing really fast in my leg days for a while, probably like 24 weeks straight. But recently, like, my upper body lifts have just been improving a lot because I didn't really have like an injury in my lower body, or not an injury, sorry, like a overuse that I had in my upper body on my left shoulder was just killing me for the longest time, like over a year, and I just didn't know what it was. I was cupping everything that I could, and it made like a temporary difference, but the pain still came back, and it was until I found out it was my rhomboid, and I fixed that, and now it just feels like everything's better. So these GHD sit-ups were very hard because I'm just tired from everything else, and it's like it's not only just pushing my core, but it's also pushing like my neck muscles. Like they were really exhausted. And I think this first set, I don't remember if I did 7 or 8, and I didn't really count right now because I'm just focusing on talking right now. But the second set, I made sure to count properly, even if I didn't want to do all 8 reps, I still did it. And as you can see, like pretty much my whole body's just shaking because I'm just pushing myself to the absolute limit. And then I think like a couple of hours after the lift, I wasn't even really that tired. You know, I ate like a big meal, and then I waited and played some board games, and then went to work, and that was it. But I think yesterday, Friday, I was feeling very tired. It's that like post-workout DOMS. I always get it like 24 hours around the time that I lifted. That's when I start to feel the most sore. So like if I lifted in the morning, the next day in the morning I would feel very sore. Or if I lifted in the afternoon, I wouldn't wake up feeling sore, but I would feel it like progress throughout the day, and that's just the DOMS setting in. And this time, last week I took my pre-workout, but it didn't have my pre-workout, like my stimulant. It just had everything else that I added to it, and the workout was okay, but it just didn't feel right because I didn't have my pre-workout, that feeling like, you can still have a good workout without pre-workout, but it feels better with the pre-workout. And my last set, I dropped the weight for 45, and I went for 9 reps. Just because I figured 50 pounds, and I was just going to get it for 7, and I like improving, every single time. Like even in different rep ranges, if I have to lower the rate, I just like improving. Like 1 rep makes that much of a difference. I think I watched a video on Alex Leonidas telling the difference between like repping 315 for 9 and repping 315 for 10. And it was the difference between like a 405 bench and a 420 bench, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say, guys, and enjoy the rest of the video. It's just me working out, and then just gonna be the pump.